Brew Strong is brought to you by Blickman Engineering, home of the top-tier brewing stand. Visit them online at blickmanengineering.com.
Brewers, it's time for the beer radio you've been looking for. This is the show that dispels myths, tackles the toughest topics, and makes no apologies for geeking out on beer. Hosted by two guys that drink before they think. Jamil Zainasheff and John Palmer. This is Brew Strong.
Hey, howdy. Hey, my brewing brothers and sisters.
Domino's Pizza, can you hold plate?
John.
Oh, had my jobs mixed up.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. How's that day job going for you?
Fine, just fine. Yes, quite fine.
Yes. Fine. Who else do we have with us? Our dear friend and master mead maker and also a great brewer, Michael Fairbrother from Moonlight Meadery out in New Hampshire. Hey, Michael.
Hey, John.
Welcome.
Jamil, how are you guys?
Excellent.
Michael and I have been doing a collaboration brew at Heretic. So we did one before. We did our honey IPA, which was Evil Bee, which was pretty darn fantastic.
Yeah, that went quick.
Right. And we actually brewed it again this year, and it went just as fast or faster than last time. And and then Michael's going to be out here again you're doing a mead class at
UC Davis this weekend.
Right. So we were like, all right, if they keep inviting them out, hey, we'll keep doing collaborations on mead collaborations. So we're doing a braggot. It's we're not sure where it's going to end up, but we believe we're gonna be in the 16 to 20% range ABV. Belgian Golden Strong with orange blossom honey and blood oranges. That's our what we plan. We'll see what happens. We're having a little trouble with the blood oranges right now.
Now, what's the typical range for Belgian Golden Strong?
It hangs down more around the 10% range.
Okay.
So,
and are you adding the entire blood orange, or just the juice, or just the zest, or what?
We're getting a puree, blood orange puree.
Mm-hmm.
I like the word puree. I don't know.
Pretty extensive boil today. It was plus 3 hours, I believe.
Right. We had to knock 30% off the volume in order to get the starting gravity up, and then we're gonna dose the honey along the way and use that to pump up to our target.
Wow.
But since he was here, like I said, Michael is he's a master mead maker, and I thought, hey, let's get him on the show. We can tackle some of those questions our listeners have had about things like opening a meadery and various mead questions as well. And I thought, Michael's so innovative. He's all about quality. Has some of the best products in the world, and it reminded me of somebody else.
Who's that?
Wow, I saw that just go.
I thought you'd get it this time. Our good friend John Blickman at Blickman Engineering.
Yes.
Right. He's innovative. He's passionate about what he does. He makes some of the world's best products. Our good friend John Blickman of Blickman Engineering been sponsoring this show for the last 10 years, so you don't have to pay for it. And I think you should all browse on over to blickmanengineering.com. Check it out. If you want to send John an email telling him how much you appreciate him supporting the show, just send an email to feedback@blickmanengineering.com, and I'm sure that'll find its way over to him. He really likes hearing from listeners and knowing that the checks he's writing are actually of some use to all of you folks. So please let them know how much you appreciate it, and check out their great products. Ask your local homebrew shop to carry them. Good stuff out there. Innovating your brew day. Blickman Engineering. All right, so today we thought, since we had Michael in house, we were thinking, one of the shows that was extremely popular was our Going Pro series. And, it's great, but a lot of people are not necessarily interested in opening a brewery. They want to open a meadery or a cidery. That's the kind of thing that interests them. There's a lot of people with that passion. We thought, but John and I, we got no experience at that.
That's true.
It's up to you, Michael, to really talk to those listeners and explain what it takes, where the gotchas are, what to expect, how to go about it. I mean, how did you get started? What was your impetus to get started, and what did it take to before you had your first commercial batch of mead to sell?
So for decades, I thought I was always going to open a brewery. And at my club's holiday party, this is Brew for or Die, I realized that when I pulled out a bottle of beer, it was my buddies hanging around. When I pulled out a bottle of mead, every woman in the room was knocking somebody over. So I said to myself, it's got to be really hard to start a brewery and do something better than like Jamil or any of these other really incredible brewers that are out there. And I said, there's nobody making really great mead. Why don't I take this route? So I went for the easiest route possible, which is I didn't want to follow in anybody else's footsteps. I wanted to just do my own thing. Mm-hmm. And in that course of trying to figure this out, I said, there's no diversity in the mead portfolio. There's no category. There's no, just spectrum. Mm-hmm. So that means it's wide open. Right. And we've now made over, I think, 80.
Yeah, there's only like two kinds of mead you can find anywhere, like a sweet and a not so sweet. And that was it,
sparkling,
right?
And still.
Yeah, we've got over 80 now that we've commercially made in the last 5 years. So, and it took me close to 3 years to get off my butt to actually do something about this and get the company running. But I did a lot of research. I studied, what were those price points, what were the other commercial meaderies at the time doing, and where could I make a difference? Mm-hmm. And, there was a meadery in New Hampshire that was going out of business, and they had interesting product, but it wasn't what I'd call good mead. It was not comparable to the meads that I had tasted at the Mazer Cup International or any of the other AHA events that I've been to. So I said, okay, there's definitely a market share. And if you look at, like, craft brewers really target men. They're a dominant audience that they target their products towards men. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, nobody's targeting women, so that's a clear segment of the demographic that you want to look at. So I was able to work on a business plan. Mm-hmm. And the business plan, when I calculated at a 750 milliliter bottle, standard wine size bottle, I said, I'm going to go broke. There's no opportunity to actually make money if I got to sell, because honey costs 350% more than malt, on average, if not more. So how can I make this profitable? So I said smaller bottle size, 375 milliliter bottle. Right. It'll be attractive to women. It'll be price point under $20 a bottle. Because, if you're targeting guys and you're saying $20 beer bottle, good luck. Mm-hmm. But if you're targeting women under $20, I mean, guys, think how many ladies have shoes for every bloody occasion you can think of. So, I mean, I've got a pair of sneakers, a pair of boots, and a pair of dress shoes. 3. And it's lasted me for 20 years.
There you go. I'm the same way. Oh, I got some flip-flops, too.
True. Forgot my flip-flops. Yeah. So, I worked this through in my head, worked through the plan, and it made sense. Mm-hmm. And I opened commercial production May of 2010. But before I started commercial production, I had to figure out how to go about getting my license and getting all this other stuff I was going to need. And I have never done this, and I was a little intimidated, didn't have a lot of resources, so I basically said, look, I'm smart enough to figure out how to do things. I'll just do this my own. Mm-hmm. And, I got the paperwork from the TTB. Mm-hmm. That's what used to be the no, not FBI.
ATF.
ATF,
Yeah.
thank you.
Tax and Trade Bureau.
Yeah, they're basically the guy's going to take all your money from you for the rest of your lives as you start a brewery or winery or meadery. And read through the form, and they got complex questions. Like they ask, how are you going to secure the facility? And I'm looking at this, and I said, lock and key.
Locks, doors.
And then they ask you how you're going to inspect how much chemicals you use every year. And I'm like, visually. Well, it took us less than 3 months to get our federally approved space. Now, during that process, you're going to need to define how you're going to bond your warehouse. And bond is a name for taxes. So how you're going to ensure that they're going to collect their tax from you. So you can either work with an insurance company to get a bond, or you can actually bond yourself and give them $1,000, which is actually your money. It's just an escrow, and eventually someday you'll get it back. Now, being young and stupid, I was not as young, well, younger than I am today. I said, let me give them $1,000.
How much stupider are you today? Or smarter?
It depends on how much of that evil twin I'm drinking. So I gave them $1,000, bonded my warehouse, and they said, okay, where are you going to keep your stored product? And I'm looking at my warehouse back then was my garage.
Warehouse.
And I roped off a 4 feet by 40 inches section of my garage, basically the size of one pallet. And they said, well, you need to designate how this is going to be secured and locked. So I put down a piece of tape on the floor. And when the State Liquor Control Agency gentleman came in to inspect, he said, well, the law says you have to have the only key to the space. I said, I do. And I have the only key to the door to get into the space where the bonded winery is.
I'm the only person.
Yes. So it's just never be intimidated by the questions. Think of how you can answer them the cleanest and clearest way possible while still being truthful.
Right.
And so we did all that. And
That's
then
good advice for, any kind of application you're looking at, I think.
Because nobody wants to have all the complexities, the lawyers and the legalese that they put in front of them. And so literally this was December 17th that I got the green light from the state of New Hampshire to, or at least my town, to start my winery in my garage. And it took us till May 20th to get my state and federal licenses. And we started production. And within 3 months, the first batch was ready for sale. And everybody's asking me, well, how much are you going to price that bottle for? And, we had some reporters in because it's always a good idea to think about how you're going to advertise that you're in business.
Right.
And so we were networking with the local town paper. And the reporter called me and she said, well, I'd like to buy a bottle. How much is it going to be? And I'm just off the back of a napkin. I said $16 a bottle. And she goes, okay, perfect. I'll take 4 bottles. And that was my first sale. And the next
cleaned out your stock.
No, not quite. But the next day, I got a 2-case order from a store, and he sold out a good amount of that product that first day. And he called me back for a second order, and essentially within a day and a half, I'd sold out of my first whole batch. And I ended up quitting my day job the next day.
And what did you do?
I was a chief operating officer in a software company. So I was on the glide path towards retirement, gentlemen and ladies. I really just didn't need to screw up, and I would have been there by now. But
you screwed up by opening a meadery. I screwed up by opening a brewery. We have so much in common.
But I've never been happier in my entire life. And it takes a lot of work. I don't want to shortchange anybody that's worked hard in this industry for 20 or more years or less. And it's amazing how much hard work there is. There's nobody that's going to work harder than a business owner.
Yeah.
And
we've never told anyone differently on that score either. I mean, whether it's nano brewer, microbrewer, micro meadery, it is a lot of hard work.
I think so I'm now president of the American Mead Maker Association, and the national average for meaderies in this country is to produce and sell about $100,000 worth of mead per year. That's extremely hard to make a living.
Right.
If that's all you're doing in gross sales, take away all the expenses, you probably need to keep your day job to make that work. Now, there are several of us that are doing 10, 20, 30, 40-fold more than that. And it takes being creative. You never give up. If somebody puts whatever problem in front of you, you find a solution to it. And, I mean, from everything. Like, we were told we couldn't make our Kurtz apple pie mead in the state of New Hampshire because it was over 16% alcohol and didn't have any grapes in it. So I called one of my state representatives, and I said, why is this law like this?
Yeah, and he told you, well, because, such and such, or, whoever owned the grapes, or, it's always one of those things.
They basically wanted me to lower the alcohol level. And so I said, well, instead of that, how about we try to get the law changed? And so I went through the process to get the law changed, and we succeeded. Mm-hmm. And then they gave the very last day of the bill signing, another brewery snuck in and got a piece of their legislation tacked onto it, which is great for them. Mm-hmm. And then at the day the governor signed the law that was basically entitled in the name of my meadery, they gave the signed copy to the other brewery because they were bigger and more clout favored. So don't take these things personally like I have, but, take them as a opportunity to learn to market and network and build yourself.
Right.
And when you think about how to structure your operation, don't discount the value of your tasting room.
Right.
And think of you want to teach your customers not only about the history of your company, but the history of mead and the history of, what you're trying to do and what's your story. Right. Because if you get customers that think of it coming to your place of business.
The history of yourself as well. They're curious as to, how you got to this point where you're making the mead. They like to know the person making the products that they're enjoying.
And occasionally I still get to do tours and tastings, and we've had a number of the Brewing Network fans come by our meadery up in New Hampshire, and it's amazing to see when they look at me and talk to me about my passion. And it's almost like every single one of them says, it's your passion that really makes you successful. Mm-hmm. And I look at it, it's the fear of failing here. If I don't make this work, boys and girls, I am out of everything I ever worked my butt off for in my entire life. Right. And, so there's you put a lot of pressure on yourself to be successful. Mm-hmm. But you have to teach not just consumers how to come in and taste your product and what to expect. And we've actually had customers come in and say, oh, I don't like honey, so I don't like your mead. Well, right. If you don't like the base ingredients, you're on the wrong foot to start with.
Let's do this. Let's take a short break. And when we come back, I particularly want to hear, what it takes to start a meadery. You talked about the licensing, but you got to get some equipment, and you got to, have some idea of what scale you're going to make and all that. So hold that thought. We'll be back right after this.
Are you looking for a simple brewing system that's great for all grain brewing, but everything on the market seems to be full of compromises? Blickman Engineering has the answer. The Blickman Brew Easy All Grain Brewing System. The Brew Easy is a complete system with easy upgrades and a beautiful compact design, perfect for any size brewing location. At its core, the Brew Easy is built on two gorgeous Blickman Boilermaker brew kettles, a high-temperature March pump, and either a top-tier gas burner or the new Boil Coil electric heater. The Brew Easy adapter lid allows the pots to stack on top of each other, forming an efficient, strong, and compact brewing setup that comes in 5, 10, and 20-gallon batch sizes. Upgrade your Brew Easy system with full automated control by adding a Blickman Tower of Power temp controller, and make moving around easy with the Blickman Kettle Cart. The Brew Easy is modular. If you already own a Boilermaker kettle, you can build your Brew Easy by purchasing just the modules you need. The new Brew Easy all-grain brewing system. See it today at BlickmanEngineering.com and brew with Blickman quality on your new Brew Easy. Since the first time the Brewing Network microphones turned on, More Beer was behind it. More Beer sponsors the programming on the BN because, like you, they love brewing. And like the Brewing Network, they love sharing their knowledge. Morebeer.com isn't just a website to place your next equipment or ingredient order. Morebeer.com also gives you access to free beer information that will make you a better brewer. Go to morebeer.com and click into the Learning Center. You'll find podcasts, technical facts, video tutorials, and more, including access to The Buzz, More Beer's social network of more than 5,000 members. And some of them might even be crazier about beer than you are. Get over to morebeer.com today and take advantage of The Buzz, the forum, the Learning Center, and make sure you're signed up to receive the newest More Beer catalog. More Beer, bringing you absolutely everything for beer making. When I order a beer, I want my server to know more about it than I do. I want someone who enjoys good beer and loves helping others enjoy it too. I want someone who knows how to pour a perfect pint for every beer style. I want a Cicerone.
The Cicerone Certification Program is creating the type of people who help you enjoy great beer. Home brewers and craft beer lovers know beer is more flavorful and complex than ever, and it takes some serious knowledge to store and serve beer right. Cicerones know beer. There are 3 levels in the Cicerone program: Certified Beer Server, Certified Cicerone, and Master Cicerone. Cicerones are truly the sommeliers of beer. The best beer locations have a Certified Cicerone on staff. Relaxed and unpretentious. Cicerones are tested on storing and serving beer, beer styles, flavor and tasting, the brewing process and ingredients, and pairing food with beer. Learn more about your next beer guide at cicerone.org. Certified Cicerone, because it takes top talent to present a perfect pint.
Do you know the 3 most important rules in brewing? Sanitation, sanitation, and sanitation. And no one does it better than 5-Star Chemicals. 5-Star knows sanitation. You can only sanitize clean equipment. And 5-Star knows how to clean, too. For craft brewers and home brewers, 5-Star has what you need to keep your fermenters, serving tanks, kegs, and draft lines sparkling and free of any beer-spoiling bacteria. PBW, caustic, acid cleaners, Star Sand, SaniClean, lubricants and defoamers, pH stabilizers, and more. 5-Star Chemicals has cleaning supplies, safety supplies, heat exchangers, pumps, hoses, and valves. And 5-Star is proud to offer eco-friendly products that exceed customer expectations. If you have a cleaning problem, you need the 5-Star solution. Visit 5starchemicals.com or call 800-782-7019. 800-782-7019 and get the 5-Star treatment today.
The 21st Amendment. Watch out! Do you like beer? They make beer. Watch out! Do you like friends and fun? They make friends and fun. Watch out! Do you still like to have a good time? The 21st Amendment. Watch out!
The 21st Amendment in San Francisco, located at 563 2nd Street, 2 blocks from the building where baseball is seen and played. Try their beers in the pub or try them in the can, featuring
Monk's Blood.
Made with real monk.
Watch out!
So why not have the best time of your life? Go to the 21A and Sean O'Sullivan will personally greet you with a can of
Monk's Blood. The 21st Amendment.
Watch out! This advertisement is not in any way affiliated nor associated with the 21st Amendment Bar and Pub, nor its subsidiaries or affiliates. This telecast is not copywritten by the 21st Amendment for the private use of the Brewing Network. Any use of this telecast without Jamil Zainashev's consent is prohibited. Suck it, JP.
Back to the beer guys that make other beer guys look like wine guys. Brew Strong.
All right, we're back. We're enjoying a few meads. This is one of the benefits of being here. I get to enjoy some meads. We got a red dress mead from Moonlight Meadery, and that's red currants. The Desire, which is black currants, black cherries, and
blueberries.
Pretty good for somebody who just read it off the bottle. And Wild, which is a honey, heather honey from Scotland with blueberries.
Right.
Oh, excellent. My favorite's the red dress, though. That's the one that's got a bit more acidity. It's very almost Belgian sourish, but not sour. I mean, it's got a really nice balance to it.
The tartness of the currants helps balance it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
And the Desire, the one with the black currants and the black cherry, that one I really like because it's got this kind of jammy wine. Like I like red wines with a lot of kind of jammy character to it. And this has got that in spades, and it's it's still got a great balance to it. A little sweeter than the red dress. And then the Wild that's unique. Got a lot of character to it. It's got some spicy floral to it, and Very interesting. I like that one as well. But my favorite's the red dress. All right. So, while I drink more of your mead, tell us about the the startup. So you've gone through the licensing process. You started with the TTB and then went to your first. You talked to your city to find out if they would allow you to operate a winery in your garage.
Yeah,
correct?
so you need to have a space before you even talk to the TTB.
Mm-hmm.
So to commercially lease a space for an indefinite period of time without being able to put it to use is pretty challenging. So I thought that I would lease my garage to myself. My building is zoned, or the place we're located is zoned agricultural, so having an agricultural business like a winery is permitted. I just had to go through the process to make that happen. And in that process, my neighborhood asked that we limit our production to 400 gallons a year. So when I ran my business plan, I ran it at 400 gallons a year. How could I make this work and still keep my mortgage and everything?
Mm-hmm.
And I was planning on keeping my day job. So equipment. I looked at...
All right, so you got the city to okay setting up the winery in the garage. You got you had to, apply for a variance or something.
I didn't need a variance because of the zoning.
All right, but it still went out for opinion out in the community or something.
Yeah, my neighbors showed up at the meeting,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd never done this before, so I thought they were going to be there to support me. And when
they're there to punch you in the peaches. Yeah.
Yeah, I walked over to the group of 6 walking through the door, and should have realized that a group of 6 people walking it through at the same time was not a good sign. But and I said, thank you for coming and really appreciate your support. And the first lady in line, she looked at me and she said, it's not personal. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And she said, we don't want a winery in our neighborhood. It was like, why? Why on earth could? What's the problem here? And she said, we'll get our chance to talk and we'll say our piece.
Right.
And so I went back to my chair and tried not to have a nervous breakdown over this because,
right.
This is like
only so much you can control what other people do.
And this was my life dream, right? The start, and here I got somebody trying to block me from starting, and it bothered me. And
given hindsight, would you have chosen another location from the start?
No, hell no.
No?
Did
it fine. The right thing to start
Absolutely
from
the right way to go.
Yeah.
Because, as we were talking about, Jamil, before, when you sign up a business or sign a lease or sign anything, they don't just stop at your company. They want you to personally
guarantee that lease. Yeah.
So if you sign a 3-year lease that's going to cost you $60,000 over the course of 3 years and your business goes flat, guess what? There goes your house.
Right.
So I would have done it again in a heartbeat. And I probably would have done it again with a big FU in the front yard to say, no, this is what we're doing.
So you got your allowance to do it, but they wanted a 400-gallon limit.
Correct.
And that still worked with your business plan, sort of, but you ended up...
I was thinking that we were going to move as soon as possible outside of the garage.
Right. And so once you had that, you got a business license from the city? You got...
my city didn't require a business license. That was just approval to start the business there.
And so you applied then. You essentially had your space, and you applied for the TTB.
Correct.
And then once you got your TTB rolling and you got that approved, then you went to your state ABC.
Yes.
And you got that approved, and then...
Then we could start production.
Okay. All right.
So in the meantime of trying to do all that...
it pretty much works that way every state, as far as I've heard.
And there may be some more city restrictions. We've heard of other wineries, meaderies...
Your business license.
Trying to get, like, discharge permits and all that kind of stuff needed. Because there's federal regulations on what you can put down the drain. Can't be under 5 pH and above 11. So you need to understand how that all works and what you're going to be putting down the drain and have a plan in place for that. But once we got the permits, we could start production. So that means we could actually mix product together. But for a meadery, anything you're going to make with honey has to get approved by the federal government, the TTB, for formulation. So you have to have your recipes approved.
So every mead you make, you need a formula approval.
Yes.
That is insane.
And that takes about 3 months to do this.
Right.
So start early. Once you get your federal license and you haven't even gotten your state stuff, start figuring out your formulas and start networking with other meaderies to understand how to get through this process. Because, I'm looking at the formula going, okay, 75% water, 25% honey for making a traditional mead that we make. What's the formula on that? Honey and water? And they said, okay, what's the percentages? And so I said, okay, by volume, 75% water, 25% honey. But then on other recipes, they wanted it by what was the percent sugar? Because water doesn't contribute any sugar. So if you're going to make a honey and mango mead, is it 25% honey, where is that by volume, and 75% mango juice? Or is it 75% fermentables by honey and 25% from the mangoes? So you have to figure all this stuff out. And then you have to, once you get the formula approved, go through COLA approval, so getting your certificate of label approved. And, what can you say on the label? So our first mead that we produced was called Desire. And I wanted to put a triple berry melomel. Now, melomel is a fruit mead. And they don't recognize that term, so that term is oblivious to them, so that's okay. The word triple berry implies that all the berries, or all the fruits are berries. And they pointed out that a cherry is not a berry. So I couldn't call it triple berry melomel in the festival
because you'd really be screwing the consumer. They'd expect 3 berries in there, and damn it, you slipped in a cherry. Well, I wanted a berry. I don't know about the rest of you. But I'd send a very harshly worded letter if I got slipped cherries.
So it took us 11 tries to get that first label approved. And they literally objected to my language where I said the berry-like flavors. And they said, you're not using berry flavorings. And I bit my tongue as I'm trying to realize that fighting with them was not the right solution to getting this to happen. So
they're very literal and very particular about the meaning of every last little word or punctuation.
And this is where the American Mead Maker Association has really kind of helped break down some doorways. There's now a TTB FAQ for mead makers that talks about what you can and can't say. So, like before, you couldn't say a blueberry, blackberry, cherry mead. You had to say a blueberry, blackberry, cherry, honey wine. Now you can use the word mead instead of honey wine.
Nice.
So as long as you got mead at the end of the definition, and you can then list the fruits or any adjuncts that you might use in the addition to making it.
Because honestly, I don't think the TTB is trying to stop anybody from, making what they want to make and getting it out there and having good sales and all that. I mean, they want to collect their taxes, but they're very literal to the letter of the law, and that's their job. And so it's kind of like, it seems really bizarre at times and insane at times, but it's really just somebody just trying to implement what they've been told they have to do.
And just like when I started, I
don't think there's any actual, like animosity or, they're not actually aggressively trying to stop somebody.
When I started, there were a few meaderies owners that I knew and called on a pretty consistent basis. Brad from Bee Nectar, was very helpful to me in understanding how to get through some of this and answer some basic questions. And that's what the American Mead Maker Association is for, which is to help people that are contemplating this and getting through it, or attending a course like the one being offered at the Robert Mondavi Institute at UC Davis on an introduction to mead making.
Now, is that for commercial brewers or commercial mead makers or home mead makers?
It's really a novice-based class now. So it's geared towards both those that are looking to go pro, as well as complete novice homebrewers. And what's great about the course is they've got really professionals now like Ken Schramm, Michael Fall, and myself to be there to talk about mead and to share our history. There's a lot of after-hours meetings that happen where people talk and share information. And I'm just honored to be a part of the group that get to talk and help people get to that next level. And I've probably helped over a dozen meaderies this past year that have called me, asked me to come up to work for me for an internship so that I could help train them on, how do we do this? What are we doing? And just like I was talking to Chris today at your brewery, it's amazing what you can learn by being in somebody else's shop to see what they're doing, whether it's the ball valves being on the hoses or, you know, all the different aspects of it. Now, but there's so much more into what do you need to start? Like, how do you plan how much capital?
Right.
What are you going to plan for equipment?
Right.
How can you scale up? What happens when you go from 5 gallons to 500 gallons?
So what volume did you start at in your garage?
So the first, we had 72 5-gallon carboys is what we started with. So there was a like a brew on premise wine shop type place that had was going out of business, and they had a ton of carboys. And so I bought 72 carboys, and so that's how we started. And I was buying my honey in 600-pound drums at the time, so I had to buy a honey. It's a drum tilt, or you basically
like
flips
a rack
over.
that the drum sits on, so the spigot is lower.
Right.
Yeah.
And the challenges with a 600-pound drum of honey is getting the honey out of the drum and not breaking a leg or smashing or pulverizing yourself as you try to flip this barrel on its side.
I'm sure
now,
you didn't have a forklift or any of that.
You know, many of you might have seen me on my website or over the years on many of the brewing forums and such. I'm 250 pounds. I'm a big boy. And when I try to flip over a barrel of honey that's 600 pounds, I barely make a dent in it. So my friend would jump onto my back, and the two of us would get the thing onto its side. And the hard part of pouring honey out of a drum is remembering that it's flowing at a slow pace, and you have to swap the bucket out because you get distracted because it's taking 5 to 10 minutes. But so you need a honey drum or way to extract the honey out of whatever container it might be. I'd highly recommend 5-gallon buckets to start with because you can manually lift that. Usually it's about 60 pounds a bucket. And we went with a no sulfite method or no heat method of making our mead. So we didn't have to buy heaters. We didn't have to buy a lot of chemicals. We'd essentially just dilute the honey with the warm water and cool it down to about 65 degrees and pitch our yeast. And instead of having temperature control on each tank, I had a air conditioner in the room. So I was able to get started for, I'd say, about $15,000 out of pocket. So that included, you know, leasing my space from myself to the company, getting my TTB bond, getting all the licensing fees paid for, equipment, use my own personal vehicles. So, you know, $15,000 was my conservative effort to get going.
That's cheap.
So it's not a lot of money.
Yeah.
Now, would I recommend that today? No. You know, but you don't need $250,000 or, you know, $750,000 like I have vested now into a business. But you don't need to try to grow your business to be this multinational, international conglomerate, you know, big-ass company.
How am I going to afford my private jet?
Yeah, well, I'm not worried about jets at this point. But I have 14 employees, and we distribute in 36 states in this country. We started exporting to Japan, China. For 2 years now, we've been over at Caliber distributing in Australia. And the Australians are great because they really enjoy a great product, and they actually flew me over to talk about my meads at their conference. But knowing how to market your company is going to be a really key asset to yourself, but knowing how to make quality product is paramount. If you can't put quality in, you're never going to get quality out. And just like the ingredients of making a really good beer, the same thing applies for the meads. So it's really crucial that you know your beekeepers or know the quality of the honey that you're getting. Understand chemistry so you can make a balanced product. Like, Jamil, you were talking about red dress and how balanced the acidity level is. Well, that's coming with no acids added, just from the addition of the fruit and knowing how to balance that out and the ratios.
Now, do you do acid titration on your meads to see what your total acid is? You do all by just taste.
Taste. So my mother taught me how to cook as a child and taught me to think about flavors. And as a teenager, I wanted to become a chef. And I was like, damn it, I'm going to become this world's greatest chef, and I'm going to go for this. And when I was 14, I started working in a restaurant, and I was so excited because, you know, there was an entry point in. And I started in the middle of June. And June in New Hampshire towards June and July are pretty hot and sticky. And a restaurant with the heat going, the ovens, it's ungodly hot. So 230, 240 pounds in a really hot kitchen. I decided almost instantaneously that cooking was not in my career path because it was not comfortable, and I wanted to get out of it. And I thought, okay, computer science, nice and cool, air conditioning, I'm going into computer science. So having that ability to think about flavors, almost three-dimensional, isn't a requirement, but it really helps. You have to know if what you like is good or not. And because everybody and their brother are going to give you an opinion. And you have to be able to discern about who matters and who doesn't. And, I sometimes joke with my friend Gordon Strong that, he was very critical of some of my earlier meads. And on the last time I joked with him about this, and so I don't joke anymore, he said, well, you weren't that good back then. And,
that's Gordon.
Yeah, that's a fair comment.
Yeah, that'll be him.
And, but, we're great friends, and I think his opinion does count. But as a mead maker, it didn't persuade me from stopping to try to make what I was making.
Right.
So you have to
have that passion.
Yeah.
You have to believe that you can do it, and you have to keep driving for it. On the same aspect, you can't just say to yourself, "Oh, no, my mead's good," and screw all of you. You can't say that either. You have to be able to take in criticism from others. I'll tell you, this is one of the reasons I really like the Dr. Homebrew show, is because they will take in beers and meads and anything else, and they'll go through them and give a kind of a they'll do a score sheet on them, and they'll talk about them. They'll kind of tell you why this beer's good, why it would not get a higher score. So that, along with a lot of the other shows, the Sour Hour, Session, the Brewing with Style, all those shows, good shows on the Brewing Network. They're all free. And, check out all those on thebrewingnetwork.com. If you're listening to this, you can download those, too, and give them a try. Lots to learn out of those shows as well. Speaking of lots to learn, Steve, Porno Steve, what is your impression of these fine meads?
Is that based on the mustache?
Yes.
Yeah, apparently.
Based on a lot more than that.
This is actually my first time drinking mead. So, I mean, I've had wine before. It's interesting. I actually like red wine quite a bit. This is, like you said, a lot more jammy.
It's jammy.
I like it.
It's sweeter.
Yeah, a lot sweeter. I like it a lot more because I tend to like sweeter things too, like stouts and sweet stouts. So this is actually right up my alley in terms of
right. Yeah, the Desire,
usually known as liquid panty dropper.
Right. What did you think of the red dress? Little tartar.
Yeah, absolutely.
A little more acidic.
Very.
It's empty, so maybe you like that one.
Yeah, I was saving the Desire for last. The Wild's interesting too.
Right. It's got kind of a spicy, floral.
Yeah, really floral.
Yeah.
Had the alcohol well though.
Yes, they all do.
14% about across the board.
Oh yeah, I like them.
And for the record, hopefully nobody officially is listening to this.
Nobody.
No one's officially.
We have no real listeners. It's just the three of us.
The alcohol levels are all listed at 14% and lower now. That's because of tax ratios. If it's listed at 14.1, it's 3 times more taxes.
Oh my god!
It's listed at 14.
You can waiver plus or minus like a point.
2 points.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So you can, if it's tested at, let's say 16, and we declare it at 14, we're still good.
Yep.
Yeah. See, now in beer we can waiver 0.3. 0.3.
Well, maybe I'm reading the laws wrong, but ignorance is bliss, right?
Right. There you go. Speaking of bliss. There's those other shows. No, let's do this. Let's take a short break. When we come back, we'll hear more from going pro as a mead or cider maker right after this.
beer tasting games that train your palate, a brewery locator, and the brand new interactive beer style guide. These are just a few of the awesome things you'll find on craftbeer.com. The style guide is a beautiful example of technology in beer. Browse beer style families or turn on the automatic beer style finder and explore beer through color, bitterness, ABV, aroma, and flavor. It's really the coolest way to explore every beer style besides having them all in front of you. Go to craftbeer.com and click on beer styles to start the guide. Plus, enjoy the rest of craftbeer.com, the Brewers Banter blogs, beer education, how to host a beer tasting, and the invaluable draft quality manual. Tons of great content that makes your beer better. Visit the new craftbeer.com right now and explore the website that brings you all the passion, camaraderie, and creativity of the craft beer community. Craftbeer.com, celebrating the best of American beer. A few things happened 30 years ago.
ARPANET migrated to TCP/IP, and the Internet was born. Revenge of the Jedi was renamed Return of the Jedi and opened in theaters. Mila Kunis and Emily Blunt were born, beginning a rad fantasy in my mind.
But all of that pales next to the fact that HopTech opened its doors and began blowing homebrewers right out of their mash tuns. HopTech doesn't fuck around. Real people shipping awesome shit straight to you. Their new website is fast and easy to navigate. Or just call 800-379-4677 and let badass bitch Jade and the gadget guy Roberto blow their warm load of customer service all over you. So visit the site or visit the store in Dublin, California and support those that support you. Get your brewing on at hoptech.com.
Hey, my brewing brothers and sisters. This is Jamel Zanishev, and I want to tell you about Heretic Evil Twin. You might be familiar with my homebrew recipe, which uses massive late hopping to create a balance between the malty sweet and the hoppy bitter, along with an outrageous malt and hop character. I wanted a beer with the same bold hop and malt character, so we played around with the homebrew recipe until we were able to make a great commercial version too. We've created a beer rich in malt character, full of caramel, toast, biscuit, and an ever so subtle roast note. On top of that, we piled in an insane amount of Citra and Columbus hops at the end of the boil, as well as in dry hopping. This damn-the-cost approach to hopping gives Heretic's Evil Twin a great blast of citrus and tropical fruit that can't be matched by any other hop. The result is a bold, malty, hoppy, but easy-drinking beer. This is our top seller, our flagship beer, and I couldn't be prouder of it. Cheers.
To find Heretic beers near you, click on Find Some at hereticbrewing.com. Williams Brewing is your online resource for prompt delivery of quality home brewing supplies. Since 1979, Williams Brewing has offered the finest equipment and the freshest ingredients, backed by the best customer service in the business. Do you like to mash using efficient fly sparging, but would like an easy way to heat your strike and sparge water? Enter the new Brewer's Edge electric mash water heater, a plug-in, anywhere, precisely controlled heater for strike and sparge water. Ditch the fumes and second burner and make mashing easy. Go to williamsbrewing.com today and browse their vast selection. That's williamsbrewing.com. Orders placed by 4 p.m. Pacific Time weekdays ship the same day. Brewing is easy the Williams way. There are two types of people in the world: naughty and nice. GrogTag is letting you tell it like it is with their naughty or nice labels for the holidays. Grandma getting you down? Slap a naughty label on that 4-year-old pale ale and put it under the tree. Did your Uncle Sal add you to his will? Well, he deserves your freshest batch of IPA with a custom nice label. Pick up one set of each and take 25% off your order by either entering code NAUGHTY or NICE at checkout. We all know how much beer you have to get rid of, so why not make it look good? Go find them at grogtag.com and don't forget to sign up for their newsletter to learn about their upcoming Black Friday sale and the Gifting with GrogTag 12-day sale during Christmas. GrogTag. At least your beer will look good.
Back to the two guys that know how to turn beer into beer. This is Brew Strong.
No.
Yes.
This is some good mead.
It is. It is absolutely delicious. I'm glad you're enjoying it, John.
I am. I'm drinking the Paramore right now.
Very cool.
There you go.
Yep, and I've got a bottle of Kurt's apple pie sitting here too. So,
Damn.
Hey, John comes prepared. All right, so I'm curious. Kind of walk us through the first few batches. How are you bottling? How are you producing? How are you selling? I mean, how did you grow from I just sold 3 bottles to a lady or 4 bottles to a lady from the television station to, now I'm sending it out to, various states and countries. I think people are interested in that. It's like, okay, I think they get the concept of the licensing. They get the concept of, what kind of equipment. I mean, should they, I'd also be curious, should they budget for like water filtration or, various things that they're going to need. And then, I've made the mead. Now, how do I, get it out there? How do I start selling it? I go door to door. What do I do?
So keep in mind, I tell every single customer that comes through my door, I do not know what I'm doing.
Makes 2 of us, brother.
I literally outgrew my garage within 2 months. Mm-hmm. So, we went from a 400 square foot space to 2,000 square foot
You were
space.
eating a lot at that time. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. I like donuts and a lot of mead. So, sales. You have to be your best salesperson. You have to understand what a customer is looking for, understand what their objections might be, and how to accommodate them and make them believe that you can sell this. Mm-hmm. Now, I got my hands wet selling at farmers markets in New Hampshire. They're dry, so you can't actually sell customers or taste them on your product. And I was so good at it that my other winery friends in the industry in New Hampshire would storm off and leave the farmers market and ask the farmers market manager if we could not show up every week, that they didn't need as much competition as we were bringing in because they weren't selling their wine. And I told the farmers market, I said, how many ears of corn are being sold by different farmers at this farmers market? And she said 3 have ears of corn here. And I said, if you can have 3 vendors selling ears of corn,
right,
I'm sure you can afford 2 wineries selling product. And the fact that I'm selling mead and he's trying to sell a, whatever, Cabernet or whatever else, I said, it's not the same game. What makes me different is I believe in my product to the point where I can convince you to give it a try. Yeah. And I was having tremendous success at that.
I just heard that at another farmer's market in somewhere around where we're at. They're like, yeah, we don't want to have more than one brewery because, it's like, so.
So my argument to them was, this is America.
Yeah, well, you can have more than one corn vendor. I mean, really.
How effing different is an ear of corn from another ear of corn? At least I had something made from honey versus something made from
something
grapes.
Different, yeah.
So I understood how to sell, and I believed in my product. And when I opened our new facility, I put down the flooring myself. I put my life savings into the place. Hired contractors to do stuff, and I didn't know to ask for 2 or 3 different quotes from different people. So I got ripped off. I got ripped off big time. But I opened the doors November 20th, 2010. And within 10 days, I was so busy, I hired my fiancée at the time, Bernice, we're now married, to become my VP of Sales and Marketing. And she gets mad that I tell people that I hired her because she was my fiancée, and I didn't hire her because of that. Why I hired her is because I believed in her. And I told her one simple thing. If you can't sell this, we're going to starve to death. It's really simple. I mean, I have every faith in the world. I mean, I'm a man that likes to eat. And And she killed it. She nailed it out of the park. She got us named New Hampshire Business Magazine's top 4 hostess gift ideas of 2010. We had more women beating down the path to our doorway than we knew what to do with. And I'd never seen women shop before. I didn't know what the hell to expect. And they're lining these meads on the bar and saying, oh, this one's for Sally and this one's for Jennifer. And tease, oh, Susie's a tease. I'm getting her this one. I'm looking at these ladies like they had 2 different heads. And what I learned about this experience is never rush a woman shopping. And if you can find a way to target women with your product, get the hell out of the way. Because they're going to tell their friends. And gentlemen, this is one thing I never understood as a young man. You make a woman happy, she's going to tell anybody she can talk to. They'll hunt down strangers. You make a guy happy, you're lucky to get him fine, because we don't want to share jack shit. We want to keep it all to ourselves.
That happens with all the guys they make happy. They really don't share that. They keep it pretty private, I think.
So being a master at sales is crucial to starting up a company. And you asked about how to get from a single state to multiple states. Well, our first state we got into was California, and that was back in May of 2011. And then from there we got into all of New England, so 7 states. And then, we took on some investment, and we got into, by year 3, 21 states. By year 4, we're in 28 in this country, nationwide in Australia. Last year, I was invited by the Australian National Homebrewers Conference to come out and be a guest speaker. Vinny from Russian River was the other guest speaker, along with a gentleman, I can't remember his name, from Fuller's. And just to see my face on the same billboard as Vinny's in Australia was enough to make me want to cry. Yeah, I mean, Vinny to me is a god in the brewing world.
He's so much better looking than you,
too. He's skinny.
Right. That would make me cry.
He's got hair. I'm missing all the above. But it was that my passion had gotten me this far. And passion, nothing can fake. You can't fake your passion for your business. You can fake pretty much everything else, but you can't make that one up. And from there, we're now 5th year in. This last July, we're in 36 states in this country. And since then, we've bought our first 60-barrel fermenter. We're now exporting to Japan and China. And the Japanese importer has asked us how many container trucks at a time they can buy. So we're looking to buy our first 100-barrel fermenter. And it takes a shit ton of money to get from where I was to where I am. Don't have to grow that fast. If you want to do this and do it right, stay small, stay local, dominate your local market. You don't have to be spread thin like butter all across the world. Own it and own it deep. And I had thought New Hampshire was probably tapped out at this point. We kind of dominated it. And my son was looking to change up, and he'd kind of graduated from college, international business degree. And he said, Dad, I really hate my job. I really need to do something else. I'd love to work for you and show you really kind of what I could do. And I know he's my son. And I was like, I believe in him because of that. But I said, look, I'll give you southern New Hampshire and see what you can do. In his first 2 weeks on the job, he'd done what the previous team hadn't done in 6 months. He got us an account that took 12 cases on their first order. He sold tons of product. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And ever since then, every day, every week, there's more and more new accounts and more sales. To now where he's going to promote out of that position into becoming a territorial manager for us. And we're going to send him into places like Oregon and Washington and other parts of the country where we know we can see tenfold more increase in sale of product. Because it's simply a matter of fact of you can't advertise about mead. It's wasted money. Right. Put print and advertising around mead because most people, like 99.9%, don't know what mead is. So advertising about something nobody's ever heard of won't help. But if you can let people try it, you'll win.
I've got a question for you. What are you doing with your water?
Nothing.
Nothing? You carbon filter it? Anything?
We do now carbon filter, but for the first 4 years we haven't. So the water that we use to mead with comes out of a reservoir. It's pretty minimally treated. I can't smell the chlorine or chloramide that might be in it, so it's pretty light. I noticed that when I was here in Fairfield last night, taking a glass of water out of the hotel sink that I could. So ideally, you don't want to be able to smell that.
Right.
If you can, you do want to probably find a good water source or treat it somehow and filter it.
Now, you say that's a reservoir. Is that, is the ultimate water source surface water, or is it groundwater? Do you know?
For us, it's coming out of... damn good question, which I cannot answer. I think it's mostly runoff, so surface water. There may be some... it's got to be surface water, because we're having a bit of a drought in New England. Nothing like you guys are having here, but I'd say the water table's down about 6 feet.
Now, John, have you heard about this iDip product?
Yeah.
If you're if you're interested in your water quality, you're interested in the parameters of your water, which I think are really important to test. At Heretic, we test our water every week, because with the drought, the water's changing. It's changing pretty dramatically. But they got this meter. You dip the strip, and you have this tester, and you put it in there, I guess, and it you don't need any math. It links to your smartphone via Bluetooth, and then it's got all these tests that'll do. There's like 34 different water tests, and 4 of them come preloaded, but there's more available. And then you only need like 4 ml of water, and each test is done with these pre-treated strips specific for each test, and you don't count drops or anything. You dip and you read. It does things like total alkalinity, chloride, calcium hardness, pH, sulfate, a bunch more. You can check them out at smartbrewkit.com. You can enter code TBN15 to receive free shipping and a free bottle of reagent
Sounds like
with your order. $70 value for using that code TBN15. So smartbrewkit.com. It's the only photometer on the market that harnesses the power of your smartphone. So that kind of helps drop the price, and gives you a pretty dramatic calculation there. So
it's
cool.
a color-based test. It's handy little device.
Right. So there you go. I have not seen it. I have not tried it, but it sounds pretty interesting. An easy way to get your water testing done. Let's do this. Let's take our last break, and when we come back, Michael, I want from you, in a nutshell, put in your nutshell your advice for people wanting to go pro in the mead and cider arenas.
Got it.
Your 3 points of wisdom when we come back after this.
Ken Grossman of Sierra Nevada Brewing Company says making great beer is hard. Making the same great beer every day is harder. Brewers Publications announces its latest release for breweries of any type and size. Quality Management, an essential guide for brewers by Mary Pelletieri. Proper quality management for small, regional, and national breweries is critical. Whether you are an established business or brand new, learn the best ways to create and manage a quality system in your brewery. This book will guide you in developing a comprehensive program that will grow with your brewery, help ensure quality processes in the brewery, and continue providing great beer for your fans. Quality management for breweries is critical for continued success. This guidebook teaches you to integrate quality management in every level of the operation. It will guide you in developing a comprehensive program to ensure quality processes in your brewery. Quality Management, an essential guide for brewers, now available from Brewers Publications. Learn more at brewerspublications.com. Your support of the Brewing Network means everything to us. We couldn't produce shows without you. And we love giving you something extra for that support, like Brew Your Own magazine. You already know it's a great brewing magazine full of recipes, equipment how-tos, discussions of beer styles, and brewing techniques. Whether you're new to brewing and just starting out or you're an old pro, you'll always learn something from the articles in Brew Your Own. Plus, there are amazing special issues like plans for building a Brutus 10 system, 250 classic clone recipes, and the Homebrewer's Answer Book. Brew Your Own magazine and BYO.com are awesome resources for any brewer, whether for yourself or as a gift. When you subscribe or resubscribe from the Brewing Network homepage, you directly support programs like this. Get a great magazine and support the Brewing Network. Subscribe to Brew Your Own right from the BrewingNetwork.com.
Say hello to my little friend.
You've heard about White Labs Pure Pitch Yeast. Pure Pitch is yeast grown right in its final packaging. That means yeast that has never been exposed to the environment. And White Labs Pure Pitch yeast for homebrewers is now available to everyone at homebrew retailers nationwide. Easy to use, perfectly sized, and ready to pitch. White Labs yeast, packaged using their Flex Cell process, ensures the purest yeast on the market. Visit whitelabs.com to learn more about Pure Pitch, Flex Cell technology, and how it's created. Then visit a homebrew retailer near you for your own perfectly sized package of Pure Pitch yeast. And you can say hello to your own little friend. www.whitelabs.com.
Learning to brew has never been so disgusting. This is Brew Strong.
All right, we're back. We're enjoying Michael Fairbrother from Moonlight Meadery is talking with us about going pro in the mead world. We've talked about that ad nauseum about the beer world, but not in the mead world. Michael, let me ask you a question. Are you getting enough?
Yes.
Oh, but I bet you'd love more, right?
Oh, I always want to make a lady happier.
There you go. Well, Adam and Eve wants to give you more. That's what I'm talking about. And as a matter of fact, Adam and Eve is going to give you 10 free gifts.
10.
All you got to do is use the offer code Jamil, Jamil, at adamandeve.com. Here's what you're going to get. You're going to get 6 free adult DVDs. 6! Count them, 6. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, but 6 adult DVDs.
Damn.
All sorts of interesting categories. You're going to get a free gift for her. You're going to get a free gift for him. And you're going to get a free gift for both of you.
Damn.
That's 9 free things right there. What do you think the 10th one is? Free shipping. Yeah,
wow.
Shipping,
come on, free shipping?
Yeah, shipping ends up costing a ton.
Oh, I don't even give out free shipping.
I mean, you get like yourself a big box of dildos. Shipping costs you a fortune. You know, that's heavy. You know, you get the high density ones. Jesus, that is a lot of material, a lot of weight to it. And that's, you know, the UPS guy straining with that big box. You know, the box is like 18 inches long. It's like, you know, it's very heavy.
I won a Scrabble game one time with the word that I used was dildo. And it was all 7 characters, and it just came right in.
So use the offer code Jamil, Jamil, at adamandeve.com. You know, pick up one, an item and get your free DVDs, get your free shipping, get your free gifts for her, for him, and for both of you, and enjoy. All right. So, Michael, your 3 words of wisdom. your 3 choices of your DVDs. No, your 3 words of wisdom for somebody looking to open a meadery.
So, meadery or cidery, make good product, make it consistently great, and believe in yourself. With those 3 things, you can accomplish everything you want to accomplish. And, you know, for us, when we broke into our cider category last year, I'm like, what the heck? We're going to make a cider. And I was going through the old BJCP style guidelines. And I saw nobody was making a New England style cider. And I said, what the hell? I can make one.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, all right, got to come up with a name. I'm like, we're a meadery. For God's sakes, why are we making cider? And I thought of names. And I'm like, how do you like them apples? Because I said, look, we're a meadery making cider. How do you like them apples? Sounds great. 13.5% alcohol. So I sent it into Zymergy to have it reviewed. And it came back with excellent to outstanding ratings from their blind judging. And I said, that is awesome. We now have this cider that, we had 3 bars wipe us out of everything we made. So we had 300-gallon batch, 3 bars wiped us out. We've increased production we're now over 3,000% from last year. So that's 9,000 gallons of cider this year alone.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And it's selling so goddamn fast. It is just insane. Like, my distributor here in Northern California is currently sold out of it, but we'll get them some more. And we also created a smaller cider called How Do You Like Them Little Apples? So a 6.5%er. So understand market, understand demographics and pricing, and being able to do that. And don't be afraid of taking risk.
Mm-hmm.
If you can put your entire life on the line, do it.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that was holding me back from making this career change in the past was my fear of failure and fear of not even wanting to try.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Having done it, I should have done it 10 years ago.
Yep. Well, there you go. Good advice. Thank you, Michael, for being here on the show with us today.
Excellent.
Taking the time
Thank
to
you
come
very
by.
much.
Brew strong, mead stronger.
If you're listening live, stay tuned. We got another episode coming up with Michael Fairbrother from Moonlight Meadery. If you enjoy the show, make sure you check out all our sponsors. Make sure you go to blickmanengineering.com. Look at their great stuff. Send them an email, feedback@blickmanengineering.com. Tell them how much you enjoy the show and that they pay for it so you don't have to. Check out the Brewing Network store, thebrewingnetwork.com/store. There's hoodies, there's hats, there's growlers, there's glassware. There's so many good things in there that when you buy that stuff, you get yourself a great gift. And all of the profits go to the bottom line of the Brewing Network and keep shows like this on the air. So don't hesitate. Do it now. Until then, everybody, brew strong.
Brew strong.
Stronger.